Welcome back to the City Current Show. I'm your host, Jeremy Park. We're always honored to bring you inspiring stories of individuals and organizations making a difference, empowering the good in our community. And we're honored to talk about a new playbook. We're talking about the Greater Memphis Chamber's new Small Business Resiliency Playbook. We are joined by Dotty Summerfield Giusti of Summerfield Associates, Inc. and the Greater Memphis Chamber Small Business Council co-chair, and Beverly Robertson, who's the president and CEO of the Greater Memphis Chamber. How are you two ladies doing?
Great, thank you.
Well, let's start out with some context. Beverly, let's start with you. When you talk about the Greater Memphis Chamber, hopefully all of us have heard about the good you do, but give us a little bit of context, because the Greater Memphis Chamber, you do a lot. And so give us some context around your efforts.
Thanks so much, Jeremy. Good morning to everyone. And just know that I have understood that lots of people who are in the community really don't know the work of the chamber. They've heard about the chamber, but they don't really know what we do. And the simple way to remember it is, one, our purpose is to relentlessly pursue prosperity for all. And how do we do that? We do that in a way that allows everybody to participate. And what I mean by that is, we characterize the work of the chamber with three simple letters: P, E, W. Pew. The E is in the middle of it. So that is the epicenter of our work, and it stands for economic development. That means we attract new investment and higher wage jobs into the marketplace to give all opportunity. We also help existing businesses expand and grow, which is really critical as well. But we could do not any of that without the W, the workforce, the pipeline. So we work in the workforce space to help build the talent pipeline that allows us to attract new investment to the marketplace. And of course, if we don't have a friendly operating environment with policies that support business, we won't be able to do anything in Memphis. So we've got to deal with the public policy aspect of it, because we do know if you have strong public policies, you can sustain growth. And you can allow existing businesses to expand in ways that don't create obstacles. So that really is the work of the chamber. And I'll leave it right there, because there are probably a lot more things I'll be able to say a little later on. And I want to leave room for Dotty.
Yeah, do give me one more thing, though, that you wish everyone knew about the Greater Memphis Chamber. So kind of in a short context, what's one other thing you wish everyone knew?
Well, I wish everyone knew that we were working on the ability to upscale people for not just present jobs, but future jobs in the marketplace. That is so critical, because the marketplace is changing fast and we need to run to keep up with it. So if they knew that we were engaged in upskilling people for jobs of the future, I think that would be significant and very important for everyone to know.
Yeah, awesome. Let's switch over to you, Dotty. So talk about Summerfield Associates, Inc. and also being the Greater Memphis Chamber Small Business Council co-chair. So give us some context around your efforts.
Thanks, Jeremy. Summerfield Associates, Inc. is a 33-year-old recruiting firm. We're a small boutique firm that works with large companies, small companies, but I'm a small business owner. I've got a small internal staff of 5. I've never had more than 35 people, including the contractors that I've got out there. So I live and breathe the issues that 80% to 90% of the chamber's small businesses feel. I'm lucky. I've got a good team of advisors, but not in-house advisors. Small businesses don't have the luxury of having a Jeremy for communications. We don't have the luxury of having a vice president of human resources that say, this is coming down the pike, you need to be aware of it. And we certainly don't have an internal information technology staff that says, when the lights go off, you're ready to have something happen. So Beverly was kind enough. I helped the chamber started Small Business Council several years ago and was asked to come back to lead it in what we didn't think was going to be the end of meetings and the end of everything that we knew. In 20, we gathered a group of about 15 people. We call it our think tank. And without the brain trust of the think tank through the latter part of 20 and 21, we would not have been able to do what we did. The Small Business Council this year put on 14 programs virtually for the small business community that went off without a hitch, answering the needs that they had told us, this bothers us. We need to hear more about this. So it's a very joint effort. We live, breathe our small businesses, and anything that affects me and my small business affects a retail shop down the street. It affects a restaurant, and it affects our not-for-profits. Our not-for-profits came to us and said, the same thing that bothers you bothers us. So it's been a very eye-opening experience and a very gratifying one to have this team work together and be able to put wonderful programs together.
Let's bounce back to you, Beverly, and set the stage, and then we'll come back to Dotty and kind of dive in. But talking about the Greater Memphis Chamber's new Small Business Resiliency Playbook, give us the background on what led to creating this playbook.
During the pandemic, Jeremy, we had the opportunity to survey both larger businesses and smaller businesses to try to identify where are their pain points? What is it that we need to address? What are the subjects of the webinars that we need to conduct? And what we discovered was that many of them were on the verge of shutting down, primarily because they didn't have the resources, the revenue, the finances. They were not prepared from a technological standpoint to have their employees work from home. They had issues as it relates to understanding what COVID was doing and how it was impacting their business. And so we became that engine. And what I said to Amy and to Dotty is, look, we need to create a resource that allows small businesses to be resilient just in case there's an act of God or a tornado or an earthquake in the marketplace. They don't need to be wondering. We need to use this as a lesson learned and really create a tool that can be documented, put on a website, called up, used, and they can use it not just for this, but to operate more effectively in the business arena. So what really created it was the research that we gained as a result of our work. And what people don't realize is 89% of our membership is small business. 11% is larger business. People look at the chamber and think, oh, they got plenty of money. They're dealing with all those big guys. 89% small business. And guess who closed down first? Small businesses closed. Stop paying memberships. So we had challenges in that regard, but we were so concerned about them and wanted to do something about them. And that was the genesis, really, of this small business playbook. And thank God Dotty agreed with us.
That's awesome. Well, Dotty, carry that forward. And how do you describe the playbook? I know there's a clever acronym, PROSPER.
Right.
So go ahead and elaborate on the playbook.
So when Beverly said we really need to do something, and asked me if I would work and do something for small business for resiliency, with the help of a wonderful person inside the chamber, we knew that resiliency was a word that was overused at that point. Small businesses in the summer and early fall of 20 really were trying to trigger out how to prosper, how to get back to making money. So we came up, built on the survey, we came up with our acronym PROSPER. Then we invited 50 small businesses, some chamber members, not chamber members, not-for-profit, for-profit, micro businesses, and fairly large businesses who continues to tell us that she's not a small business, but she wanted to take care and take part of this, to a series of meetings along the acronym PROSPER. We brought in a subject matter expert for every meeting, and then picked some of our people on the team, on our PROSPER team. And that was perspective, refocus, operations. And again, operations, that stood for everything financial, everything financial. Systems, where our systems prepared. How do we do this? People, engagement, and refocus. So out of those 6 sessions came a playbook, something, that how-to book to yank off the shelf and say, they say bad weather's coming again. Flip, flip, flip. Are my operations, did I do what I needed to do system-wise? You know, have I got all my banking set? Am I good with a loan if I need one? Those things that small business owners who spend, and we know this, we wish we could change it, but small business owners, we spend 90% of our time in our business and not on our business. So this is our on the business survival guide. And out of it, thank goodness, came both the Small Business Resiliency Playbook and the interactive website where the videos from our Prosper meetings are there. There are wonderful, good videos of small businesses that took the time and had the ability during the pandemic to pivot and prosper. And as we move forward, we will add to that. And it is very exciting, very exciting.
I'll throw this out for both of you. Were there any aha moments as you're going through the process and you're bouncing these ideas off each other and you have the subject matter experts and you're putting this together? Were there any moments where you're like, wow, that's something I hadn't even thought about. That's really good.
The first thing that hit us all, and Beverly, hop in when you need to, was it's not if, it's when this is going to happen again, period. It's coming. It's going to be a pandemic. It's going to be another ice storm. It's going to be another windstorm. Something's going to happen to shut us down. And is my business ready? Do I have the tools? I think the thing that came out to most of us is the impact it had on our people. We know the solitude of being a remote workforce may help productivity, but it has hurt so many of our people. So as we take the Small Business Council and springboard on Prosper and the playbook into the new year, we're going to try to answer some of the questions that we didn't have a chance to answer last time. We talked about engagement, but we really need to talk about the mental health of our staff, and to make sure that as we, God willing, return to some semblance of a new normal, they are fully capable of doing so. Not just the physical tools, but the emotional tools.
Yeah. And I like that you can continue to add on to this. Beverly, what would you add to that?
I think they did a pretty comprehensive job, Jeremy, in looking at all aspects of business, whether it was with systems, technology, healthcare, benefits, whether it was making sure that they understood that for the leaders to understand that you got to prioritize your employees. There is nothing more important than prioritizing the lives and well-being of your staff members, your team members, your employee base. And I think many people gained a greater appreciation. I would say that the one thing that I learned out of this, just as an organization which is quasi-governmental, but also as a small business owner myself, is it is critical that you have a reserve fund and that you have a business banker. You need a banker, somebody you can pick up the phone and call and say, help, I need a loan, or help, someone who knows you. You built a relationship with them. And I can't tell you how important relationship building is when you're a small business. You need to have those connections, make sure you cement those connections and do it on an ongoing basis. Don't just do it when you need something. Do it when you don't need something. And so understanding that that is really the lifeblood of your operation, the strength of your relationships, is really critical and something important for all businesses, but especially for small businesses to know.
Jeremy, and I can't agree more. My uncle, who was in business for 60 years, when I started my business, the first thing he said to me is, I have three things to tell you. Make your banker your best friend. Make your banker your best friend, and don't forget to make your banker your best friend. And Beverly's right. Without that relationship, I mean, the worst thing a small business can do when they're in trouble is to pick up the phone and call the bank they've dealt with for 30 years and say, can I talk to Fred? And goes, who are you? You have to make that relationship.
Yeah. Talk about access to this, because you're putting this out there for everyone to be able to use. And so talk about access, where we can go. And, Dotty, I know you were talking about how this will continue to build on and continue on and to evolve and grow. And so this is going to be an ongoing opportunity, but talk about where we can go and plug in.
Well, the first place is very simple, smallbusinessresiliency.com. That's the website. And on the website, you can download and have access to the playbook, the Small Business Resiliency Playbook. The whole Prosper process is there. It's pretty easy to navigate. We are continuing to add videos of our meetings. We will do so going forward. It will be a place to share. We do plan to do a survey first quarter again of small businesses, and those results will be on the website, which will also lead us to the programming for the second, third, and fourth quarters of the year. Beverly's been so amazing to the small business community. What we need is what we need. What a small business needs is not what a large business needs. Mm-hmm. And we will determine amongst ourselves what they're crying for. Better certification, better access to local companies. We know those are things that small businesses want, and we'll tackle that going forward.
Beverly, wrap up with words of encouragement. When you look at what this means for small businesses and the road ahead, 2022 and beyond, what are some words of encouragement?
Well, what I would say is that there is a very rich and robust future for small businesses. We are only inhibited by the way we think about it and what we think we can do. You know, we limit ourselves more than anybody else limits us. And what I would also say is that the small businesses that are really going to win are the ones that stay informed, that allow data to lead them, because one of the things that helped us in this small business space is the research that Dotty was talking about. We actually used the research to inform our actions. And so we knew exactly what small businesses were saying. We knew exactly what small businesses needed. So Dotty can help to shape the programming and the resource people that she had. So people need to tune in to the chamber, get on board with us, because we will provide a wealth of knowledge and information. And a lot of times small businesses don't have the time to do research, but they can sit down for an hour and listen to the research and then talk about the implications it has for them. You know, this country is no longer driven by mammoth and huge companies. Guess who drives and is the major engine of the economy? It's small business. So if we prosper, this economy prospers, people can get jobs and get jobs that train them for spaces that they may never have thought that they could exist in. So I would say the future is bright, and it's even brighter as we recognize that Ford is coming, but not just Ford. There is a pipeline of companies in our economic development pipeline that are looking to plant their flag right here in the Mid-South, and specifically in Memphis, because of the tremendous assets that we have. So anybody that doesn't think Memphis has momentum and is on the move, they are hiding under a rock. And I don't know why they can't see it. They need to go downtown, go to Orange Mound, go to Midtown, and look at the movement of how everything is going in Memphis. Memphis, to me, is, you know, we always talk about, well, you know, Memphis could have been, or it could be. No, we are. We are it now. So for those who can't see it, tell them to give me a call. I'm at the Greater Memphis Chamber, and I will let them know exactly what is going on in this space and in this marketplace. But the future is bright for small businesses, and I'm really excited about the possibilities.
Well, you mentioned getting in touch with you. So where do we go to learn more about the Greater Memphis Chamber?
www.memphischamber.com.
Nice. And then Dotty, go ahead and wrap up one more time with the website for the playbook, and then also where we can learn more about your business as well.
Thank you, Summerfield Associates, summerfield.net. But the playbook, and it'll be in every email signature that I send out effective today at the very bottom, smallbusinessresiliency.com.
Makes it easy. Yep. Well, Beverly, Dotty, thank you for all you do. Greatly appreciate it. Thank you for coming on the show.
Thank you for having us.